Good morning, traders. So basically, we have a potential sell the news event today. The momentum traders are going to be on the sidelines today with FOMC coming out later this afternoon. So, it's an opportunity to take some profits. As you can see, we're up here, all time highs. All the oscillators are pretty well topped out. Anybody who's an oscillator trader like MACD, RSI, CCI, all these oscillators are nearing a top out range. So, at any point, yeah, you could start coming in here trying to uh, bring her back in and start resetting these oscillators to the downside. Not saying they're going to do that, but that is a possibility here. So, do want to point that out. As you can see, this looks very risky. We are into this wick area on this candle. You know, possibly rejecting to the downside today, breaking back down below this prior all-time high. And this was President's Day earlier this year, and so I kept saying this was a really bad high that we couldn't even get back into, major resistance, and we are flirting with breaking back down below that area this morning. Okay. Okay. Along with that, I do want to point out S&P, the SPX, the 4,000s yesterday. We had over 38,000 open interest contracts. Somebody came in there and they were really thinking we were going over 4,000 yesterday. And as you can see, it has readjusted today from yesterday's volume. But my point is, uh, anytime you see a major outside open interest or buy into SPY going into just 1 day left into an expiration, you got to think that investors are getting too bullish, and so always keep that in mind as a contrarian indicator if you're getting a major open interest signal in the SPX intraday or whatever. And so just keep that in mind going forward here in your trading. So we did have that signal yesterday, potentially marking a short-term top in the markets. So I do want that is a bearish signal in my opinion that the we may have topped out here in the short term going forward here. Okay. I have this chart here, which I've been sharing with the guys, and I was calling out a bull trap here on the. If you go on the daily, these don't line up quite as well on the daily chart, but if you go in here, what I was looking at here, just do it that way. This looks like a bull trap on the Qs. We had this downtrend we're in. It doesn't look at pretty right here, but if you go down on a 1 hour, okay, that does line up fairly good with support and resistance levels uh, on the 1 hour chart. It doesn't really isn't so clear on the daily chart, and so basically, yeah, I was floating the idea that this was a bull trap, a potential bull trap in tech yesterday. So I do want to point that out. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I'm floating that idea. We absolutely, if you're going to see the markets going higher, tech has to rotate. Money has to come back into tech. So keep that in mind. We do have bond yields down a little bit this morning, going in. So that's supportive of the financials. I don't know if we're going to go right back into that financials trade or not. Yesterday we had a big sell off in the financials because the bonds actually caught a bid. So, but yeah, we you would have thought if we could have had the bonds up this morning, that would be more supportive of the tech for a breakout move from the downtrend. And but since the bonds are slightly down so far this morning, we got to be careful here going forward here on our technology. Okay, IWM. Okay, major reversal signal here on our Russell. Okay, so we want to keep an eye on the black line right here going forward here for critical support going forward here on our Russell. So I do want to point that out. We have broken, see this volume point of control right here? back in time. This is on a 1 hour. It's a weekly chart. We have broken below that. Early this morning, we are breaking back. So all this breakout inventory, this is all getting rejected. So we are breaking into back inside of prior value on the Russell this morning. That could quite possibly be a significant bearish signal for the Russell going forward the rest of the week here. Okay, keeping a close eye on our diamonds. These are your weekly volume profiles. Okay, we had value all the way up to here last week, right there into the very end of after hours last Friday. Yeah, last Friday. So you don't really want to count that, but right here, we just bounced off a value area high for last week on the diamonds. So keep a really close eye on this. Diamonds look like they could be breaking down as well back into last week's value, into last week's inventory, and this could very easily be a rejection of these highs. Okay. Some early charts that I'm keeping an eye on right here. Alibaba as a potential bounce candidate. We are at channel lows on Alibaba, potential bounce candidate. That's by the dipper with a defined stop at yesterday's low. Facebook looks like it is trending lower here. So I do think Facebook, anytime you get above 270, this is in the short zone for Facebook for a migration back down to 270. So keep this one on watch going forward here. So a lot of these are lighter volumes here. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, I think a very good chance that we're going to have a really tight inside day today, and so we'll just keep that in mind. Disney looks like we're breaking critical support early this morning, potentially breaking critical support on Disney this morning. Goldman Sachs is just not doing too much on Goldman Sachs as well here. Let me check my. Okay, 1 second. Okay, some takeaways I mentioned in the room yesterday. I showed everybody that was in the Zoom yesterday. So basically, we're in this downtrend on Apple, and we came up right here to the 50% fib. Okay, and then we got rejected, and it was just slight shy of the outside of my channel, and right at this 50% fib. Come down here, and then yesterday we rejected the 61.8 and also just slightly shy of my outside channel. So the downtrend is still quite intact for Apple. Okay, so I do want to point that out. It looks to me like we could very well have topped for another cycle for Apple here. So winding up for a much tighter range setup here. So my thesis is, so we got this right here. So I'm thinking here, there's a good chance we're going to come down here to the 122.50 area at least, and maybe possibly catch another higher low scenario to bounce off of on Apple. So we'll see what happens today. We had a lot of flow in Apple both sides yesterday. That's one thing I'm looking at here. Microsoft came up to channel highs, trading channel highs. Anytime we get up in this area, that tends to get rejected back downward. So a reset in Microsoft here is also in the cards, in my opinion. So I'll keep this one in mind also. If you go out on a daily on Microsoft, it was very active yesterday. So we're right up here in those channel highs. Just another just an oscillating back down. This is not bearish action, but I don't like rocket ship outside of channel. I think those are shortable. I think it's much more constructive just to, right here at this point, to come back in and bounce. Okay, late afternoon, the momentum trades, or the main big tech trades, they pretty much went off the radar. They're going into late afternoon yesterday. So, but I was looking value trades. They were starting to come back into these value trades. J&J over the next 2-3 weeks, they were buying options for J&J for a move higher. They were still buying the 160s, being conservative, but they do seem to think J&J is going to go higher here. So if you guys are wanting to take a swing position trade, J&J looks like it's lifting off here, possibly going back up here near all-time highs. Let's see, Pfizer. Past few days, we've been seeing an accumulation in Pfizer. Looks like we're going to be coming up here to this range high here in relative short order. So the $37 range here on Pfizer. That's another one that they're accumulating. Merck, they're accumulating. You know, basically we're coming out of this accumulation zone for Merck. Now it's starting to trend. Very easily can come up here to the 79.80 area. That's your 200-day moving average on Merck. Bristol Myers. Bristol Myers is another one. So, you know, these pharmas are, we are in a downtrend here. Looks like it's starting to break out of this downtrend. Bristol Myers, it's another one that looking very constructive going forward here. All these are catching option flow for over the next few weeks. But, you know, as far as this week, I mean, I wasn't really seeing a whole lot. So, I mean, I do want to point that out. These are just longer term ideas. If I trade for day trades today, I guarantee you they're going to be 80, 85 delta trades. I am not taking major speculative bets today. The markets are not going to be moving that much, in my opinion, unless they move to the downside. So, you know, I might be doing like 80, 85 delta puts type thing. You know, just try to get a quick scalp type scenario, and you know, book my goal, because my goal is like a 500. If I can get 500 a day, I mean that's great. You know, today, knowing we had the FOMC, I'm yeah anything, you know, below that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and push the envelope just to lock in my daily goal. So that's the only thing I'm thinking about. If you're going to trade today, be very careful. Like I said, the 80, 85 deltas is not a bad idea on your trading today. Okay. Thanks a lot. Like the video if you like it. Please retweet it on Twitter. You know, that way we can get a lot more followers watching these every day, because it tends to take quite a bit of work on these. And then, you know, if you want to come into the Zoom room or something like that, just let me know and I'll get permission and we'll let you in, you know, short term. Okay. Thanks a lot. And I will see you guys tomorrow.